Vibration flow. Okay. So when we understand that life is about lessons, life is about flowing, and it's when we experience do we flow, we can start to understand the ways to stay in the flow. So when you understand what you're attracting is but a lesson, and you know that to attach to that lesson is to stop the flow. The simple way of just putting your problems in a box or in the river to let it flow again will mean that any problem will get sorted. And it is very strange that when you have no attachment to it, that it does get sorted. I laugh about I give it to the angels, but it is true, because once you release yourself from the attachment of it, it is surprising how the situation is taken away from you. Because remember, it cannot attach to you. If you're vibrating at a pure level, it cannot attach. So if it cannot attach itself, it cannot become a lesson. It cannot become a problem. And then you see the confirmations that come out. The confirmations come in many ways. But when you're enjoying life, that's a confirmation. When your heart feels warm, that's a confirmation. When it feels right in your body, that's a confirmation. Now you've got your own way of finding out if you're flowing or whether you're going upstream. Because sometimes we do think that we're doing something spiritual or we're doing something right in life, but we're not. It may seem spiritual, it may seem right, but if you can't feel it on the body, if the heart doesn't feel it, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're not flowing. And this is the secret. That's why don't think about what you do, just do it. That is the whole thing. Then you start to see a new way of seeing things. Then you start to understand that you're a body that actually is experiencing. So then if you have your favorite food, you're starting to feel that, and it feels good. Okay? The only time that it's not good is when the brain has got an attachment to it. The brain evolves what it's trying to track what you feel is love in life. So if you love a certain chocolate cake, then that love is what you want. But that's a false love. Because I'm not saying the cake is bad, it's not. Because remember, it's only the attachment you have to the cake. Now, if you really loved and you came from a place of enjoying life and you were in the flow, the cake would say it tastes nice anyway. When it doesn't taste as good as it normally does, it's because you've come from a place of lack, and so then it becomes lack. So if you start to add this to everything you do, you can start recognizing with just your body, the feelings you get from your body. If you put a certain food that you know is bad for you near your stomach, you will feel the vibration of whether you have an attachment to it or not. If you have no attachment, it doesn't matter what you eat. It goes through your body. If you have an attachment, the body will store it. If you have a lack that you feel that you're overweight and you're not vibrating health, then you will be shown this. You will still see this. Doesn't matter how much weight you lose, you will still see yourself as fat. You will still see yourself as unhealthy. Why? Because you're vibrating at a level that is lack. And this is the key to it all. Once you see the purpose in everything that you do, and you enjoy this, then you actually become it. But also, the item or the person becomes what they're born to do. When you allow another person to be who they are, and they start to flow from their purpose, they are doing what they're meant to do, and so they're flowing. That's why you should look for the purpose in everything. Even a glass. If the glass is not being used and it's not being filled with stuff that you enjoy drinking, then it's not doing its purpose. Its purpose is for people to use. And if it's not being used, it becomes negative. If it's stored in the cupboard for so long, it becomes negative. And it's the same with people. If you don't do your purpose in life. So it doesn't matter if you want to get that high-powered job and blah, blah, blah. If you haven't got your purpose in that job in some way, it's going to become negative. Doesn't matter how much time you put into it. It's the vibrational energy that's important. And so you can feel where the job is right. And if you can see the purpose in the job, then you can see what you're doing. Even in negative situations, you can still see the purpose. You can still see what's right and the big picture. And when you put love to anything, that is a way to also see the big picture. But if you resonate by being love yourself, then the confirmation, the big picture will emerge. Why? Because you have no attachments. You have no obstacles. It's free flowing, so the information free flows back to you. That's why when you are peaceful, when you're sitting in nature, when you're one with yourself and you're flowing, information that you even a thought that you process comes straight back to you. Then you start to see the big picture. Then you start to see the connections. Then you see why people come into your life. Then you see what you're attracted. And now you're seeing a new world. And this is what it's all about. Because when you start seeing a new world, you start feeling it. You start being different. Your body, enjoys just the walk, enjoys the smell of flowers. You start to see things that you never saw before. Why? Because you become a multisensory. You become a spirit that's enjoying having a body. Then you start to love your body because you realise it's an open vessel to experience, like a medium does. He enjoys that he gets a message to pass on to people, and then he shares in the experience and learns from sharing. And that's what it's all about. It's not just standing there talking all the time. It's not there interrupting people. It's not about you being the best in the world, because then you're coming from a place of lack. You're not coming from the place that we're all part of, that we all have the source in us. We all have this energy that's flowing through all of us. It's only ignited when we do the things that ignite it, when we actually are experiencing life, because the body needs just as much as the soul, because that's how we learn. You bring all the energies together, all the people together, and then it ignites this euphoric of the learning that's come, the joy, the enjoyment from the passion, the inspiration from doing, from learning, from being, But it's back to the experience. That's what it's all about. So you know that if you are peace, then you are flowing. So, if it don't bring you peace, don't do it. Because it means you're not flowing. It means you're not doing what you're doing. It means you're swimming upstream. And so, it's very important. Because people say to me, well, I've got to live. I've got to eat. This, that, and the other. If you're spirit anyway. So if you died, you come back. What's the worst that can happen? You can die. But it ain't going to happen. Because even if you're living off the energy, you can last a long time. Water is important because the body needs to flow water. That's why I don't understand that people don't like drinking water. That's just the brain stopping you from having what it needs to clear it out so it's not in control anymore. Because if you drink warm water every hour, then you're always flowing. If you're having to do a lot of thinking, a lot of working, your body needs water. It's made up of 75% water. It doesn't flow unless it has the water in it. So if you're putting food or stuff that you're drinking too much of, you're stopping the flow. The odd cup of coffee and tea isn't bad if it's still flowing with a lot of water that's coming through the system. So you now start to understand that there's different ways of enjoying. We get confirmations. As long as we give, receive, and share, we're in the balance. As long as we're doing what makes us flow, enjoying life, laughing, smiling. These are all automatic things that you automatically do. Automatically breathe. These are all the things that if you go into more of doing, you're more flowing. And then you flow even more when you see the big picture to why. When you become, if you become wealth, if you can feel the energy of being wealth, and it doesn't matter whether you got 10p in your pocket or you got £1,000,000 in the pocket, you can still feel that you're wealth, and then you can attract it all the times. And then any ideas of what you want out of life will easily come back because it's abundant, it's free flowing. So it's going to attract because you're vibrating at that level. You're vibrating at the level to attract it. It's only when you come from a place of lack that you don't attract it. You attract the lessons of not having it, or you become not having it. And that's why when you focus all the time on what you haven't got, all the time you're not flowing. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're flowing. You are actually experiencing. So stop thinking about things. Tell your brain to bring you peace and it'll start attracting peace. Your brain is wonderful because it's good for trying to work out things. But you don't need to let it overrun. Yeah, any problems, put in a box, put in the river. Let the brain do what it's good at, like a learning machine, collecting data, collecting experiences, collecting memories that you can fall back on. But remember, each journey that you flow down the river is a new journey. Every moment is a new moment. You can't recreate the good times, so there's no point focusing on good times. Get the energy of the good time, not the experience, the actual energy at the end of it, the where it all comes together and it's where you've brought all the three, the give, receive and share. So by loving yourself, by being at peace with yourself and by experiencing, you are the source. You are balance. And that's the key to it all. That once you are this, you can see a new way of seeing. You're not holding on to attachments. You're not holding on to negativity that's stopping the flow. You're not coming from a place of lack. Thank you very much for sharing in this experience. And I hope it's given you some insight that's taken many years of channeling to bring it through to you. And that's the most amazing thing, is that when you become an open vessel, you just receive and give and experience and share, and it's magic. It's a two-way experience. You become the pupil and you become the teacher, and then you become the enlightened one. So get into that flow, enjoy life. If you're not, then you're not flowing, you're swimming upstream, and it's time to change the direction. So just do it. Change your life vibration to the source by enjoying life. Thank you very much.